I have just bought a Bugatti Veyron.
A $2 million car sat in a repossession lot because nobody could fix it. Not the engineers, not the dealers, not the authorized service centers with their 5-figure hourly rates. A YouTuber bought it for pennies on what it was worth, rolled it into his workshop, and within days had identified the fault that a global luxury brand had priced at $350,000 to repair. The actual cost of that repair was $3. That number changed how the automotive world thinks about supercar ownership, and Bugatti has offered almost nothing in response since. Matt Armstrong bought a repossessed Bugatti Veyron knowing it had a broken gearbox, and he did it because the price had fallen far enough to make the gamble worthwhile. When Volkswagen Group pushed the Veyron into production in 2005 at its facility in Molsheim, France, automotive engineers treated it as a mechanical landmark: 16 cylinders arranged in a W configuration, 4 turbochargers running sequentially to eliminate lag, and over 1,000 horsepower delivered to all 4 wheels. Its verified top speed of 253 miles per hour set records when the Supersport variant arrived in 2010, and only 450 examples were ever built before the final car left the production line in 2015. Each one carries the weight of that scarcity before it even turns a wheel. Buying a broken one and planning to fix it yourself sits somewhere between remarkable confidence and an extraordinarily expensive lesson, and Matt had already decided which side of that line he was on. The gearbox arrived locked completely solid, and Bugatti's authorized network returned a repair estimate of between $350,000 and $400,000. Most owners stop at that number and make other arrangements. Matt pulled out a multimeter instead, walked the electrical system junction by junction, and found a blown fuse, a $3 component from any automotive retailer in the country. Replacing it restored full gearbox function, and the repair, quoted at $350,000, required $3 and a patient afternoon. The gap between those two numbers is not accidental, and tracing what lives inside that gap became what the entire rebuild was actually about. After the gearbox came back, a persistent misfire spread across the left cylinder bank of the W16, sometimes settling on cylinder 16 and sometimes drifting wider, triggering warning lights and irregular cold start behavior that refused to resolve cleanly. Rather than standard crankshaft position data, the Veyron reads combustion quality through ion sensing modules with a rumored replacement cost of $9,000 each on an engine carrying 16 of them. Systematically swapping coil packs and spark plugs between the left and right banks, Matt worked to isolate where the fault actually sat, and that investigative process opened a much larger question. Cross-referencing the part numbers stamped on components already inside the car, the mythology surrounding Bugatti's engineering started coming apart, one catalogue number at a time. Inside the gearbox system, the accumulator tanks carried a Volkswagen Lupo part number A, a city hatchback that sells today for around £5,000 on second-hand listings. Bugatti's price for 2 of those accumulators reached $1,235. The identical Volkswagen units cost £200 total. 16 NGK spark plugs feed the W16, available directly from NGK for £17.37 each, against Bugatti's official price of $57 per plug, putting the full set at £916 through official channels versus £278 sourced directly from the manufacturer. Ignition coils matched units from a Volkswagen Phaeton and a Bentley Continental GT with a 6-litre engine. Standard Volkswagen Group shelf parts priced at $245 per coil through Bugatti, with labour to replace all 16 quoted at 23.5 hours and $6,627 in workshop time alone. Haldex fluid runs to $191 from official Bugatti supply and £29 from a standard automotive supplier. Tracing the gearbox pump led to an Audi A6 all-road application, quoted at $3,615 by Bugatti and available from Audi directly for $1,121, and Matt eventually sourced the pump motor alone for €268 and bought two of them. Bugatti's response when Matt contacted them for basic service components, filters, seals, fluids, was that the car must be physically present at their facility and worked on exclusively by their technicians. That policy is not incidental to the revenue model. It is the revenue model. No independent parts purchase, no independent specialist, no servicing outside the authorized network. The annual service cost through that network runs between $25,000 and $27,000. Matt's total bill for the same service, using genuine original equipment manufacturer parts sourced through normal commercial channels, came to $1,193.83, a saving of over 93%, achieved by treating a $2 million hypercar as what it actually is: a machine assembled from traceable, purchasable, replaceable components. The oil service required 14 litres of 10W60 motor oil, the same specification used by BMW and Aston Martin, distributed across 16 separate engine sump plugs. MAF sensor sourcing caused real problems. Ordering the same part number twice produced different units both times, and Matt resolved it by transplanting the sensor elements directly into the original housings. Needing the speed key that activates top speed mode and unlocks the car's full performance capability, he worked with an auto locksmith, studied how the mechanism actually functioned, and had a working key made instead of paying Bugatti's official replacement price. That key unlocked top speed mode, and Matt drove the car over 150 miles to a runway where it ran well before a sudden power loss pointed toward a fuel pump control module fault. The car was not finished pushing back. Every performance manufacturer operates a version of this system: closed parts networks, authorized only servicing requirements, branded catalog numbers that conceal identical components available elsewhere for a fraction of the price, and warranty language crafted to keep independent mechanics at a distance. It works because most owners can absorb the cost without questioning it, and because most lack the combination of workshop access, technical knowledge, and a public platform large enough to document what they find. Mark McCann, another automotive YouTuber who attempted his own Veyron rebuild, ran into precisely the same resistance: the sourcing refusals, the corporate silence, and a system built to make independent work feel impossible. Bugatti's safety argument holds some weight in a specific context. A car built to reach 253 miles per hour demands calibration tolerances on suspension geometry, aerodynamic systems, and tire pressure monitoring that carry genuine physical consequences if compromised. And at those speeds, a failure has nothing to do with inconvenience. None of that extends to a spark plug. NGK manufactures plugs to consistent, tested specifications, regardless of which vehicle receives them. The Volkswagen Lupo accumulator tanks perform the identical pressure and sealing function as those fitted to the Veyron. The Audi A6 all-road pump moves fluid the same way regardless of which badge sits on the car above it. Matt installed genuine original equipment manufacturer parts bought directly from the companies that made them, and a safety argument grounded in manufacturing tolerances cannot justify a 600% markup on a standard ignition coil. What the rebuild documented, with receipts and part numbers anyone can independently verify, is that the official service premium is a pricing decision wearing the appearance of an engineering requirement. The Veyron is a genuinely extraordinary machine. The engineering required to put over 1,000 horsepower into a road car that holds together at 253 miles per hour is not easily dismissed and not easily replicated. The performance is real. The right to repair that performance using the actual original components at their real cost is also real, and it took one man with a workshop, a multimeter, and a camera to prove it on the record. $3 against 350,000. That space between the two numbers is where the whole story lives, and Bugatti has yet to explain it.